What it will, what it won't, what it do, what it don't. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We are in the building today to do what we do best, which is bring you riveting sports content. And the only way that we know how, and that's rough, rugged, and raw. It is sports, it is business, it is entertainment, it is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where the managerial decisions of big finance meet the weekly storylines of sports and entertainment. This is your first time being a part of this particular experience, this episode is going to be transformational to you. Welcome, 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 and let's go. Since we are the place where managerial decisions of big finance meet the weekly storylines of sports and entertainment, just as a way of background to increase just marginally our credibility, let me let you know that you are in the midst, in the presence of the man, the myth, the legend. Thou shalt be intergalactically known and respected as. When you say it with reverence, say it with some bass in your voice. He is from the Middle Coast. He is the Big Flow Show is in the building. What's up, my brother?
Man, nothing much, man. Just trying to make it happen for today on a Friday. You know, a lot of stuff going on. The spring's coming. When that weather comes, that sunshine, that heat, the beauty. It just feels like when you're from Chicago, and I'm sure you can appreciate this, New Jersey. You just feel like it's a new beginning.
Baby.
You know, Easter comes for the religious folks. Mother's Day, you know, is really the beginning of the year. It's coming up next week. It's a new beginning, and I'm excited.
We can never say Happy Mother's Day too early, so we'll be the first to say a whole week plus in advance Happy Mother's Day. It's not this weekend, it's the following Sunday. But just in case, we want to make sure that we go over and beyond. We'll err on the side of caution and say early Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, because it is spring season.
When you say something early, does that let you off the hook? Are we good now? Or does that
you good, but you're not?
It's only in addition to.
You're good, but you're not. You know,
if I say, Mom, Happy Mother's Day, am I straight?
Yeah, I would say it on Mother's Day too.
You get you a best. So this is in addition to. Okay, this is extra. Okay, I just wanted to check how it works.
You can never say it enough, man. Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day. To any of the mothers that listen, we appreciate you tuning in. We're going to give you some sports, business, entertainment to take with you along the way, because Mother's Day should be celebrated at least 2 weeks, man. They do a fine, good job with most of our kids. So
we should start a petition.
Start a petition, man. Gonna start it early. We started today's show. And I want everybody to understand what we're doing here, because April showers bring May flowers. I have on my pink, spelled the way it is pronounced, pink, straight up pink. I got on my pink today for a few reasons. Mostly because, we are naming this show. I'm all over the place now. Sorry, hold on. We're naming this show. That's what happens when your computer's older than Methuselah. We're naming this show Uncle Fester's Flowers. April showers bring May flowers. There's been a lot of rain on the East Coast. I don't know about the Middle Coast, but the East Coast has been a lot of rain. And out comes the May flowers. We'll start piece by piece. Notice I got on my pink today. Yes, because it's May.
So notice the pink, but ignore the flowers that we see everywhere.
I got flowers on there.
I think what America wants to know is, did you have the jacket made? When you were walking through the pimp store, did it just grab you off the shelf?
First of all,
how does one acquire a jacket like that in a 46 large? Long?
On behalf of all the pimping is pimping. Been pimping since pimping. My great-great-great-granddaddy was pimping. First, let me say this is salmon. Second, let me say I wasn't walking through the store. I was just levitating. You don't walk when you so cool, you levitate, baby.
Mink. I'm sure the mink, if you walked, you might have stepped on the mink. So if I was to want to procure such garment, I know they don't make it in my size. But let's just work with me. Do you call ahead?
You gotta call somebody who knows somebody. I got you though. And this would be the week to do it. Because this is also the week of Kentucky Derby.
Oh, yeah.
Kentucky Derby, baby. And Kentucky Derby, what they do is on that Friday night. So tonight they event at the track is a pink event. It's the opening night. It's Kentucky Oaks night where everybody wears pink. Okay. So I wear my pink today in celebration of Kentucky Derby week. I wear my pink today. I'm not good
in my sweatshirt. I'm not couldn't come like this.
You straight.
I can come like this.
Okay. Teach his own. Yeah,
somebody come as you are, ask me to go fetch something.
Come as you are. But I did notice that in this year's NFL draft, this is also an homage. I'm paying honor to all of the draft picks. This was the look. Shirt, tie with a big old chain on top of the tie. Now, my chain is considerably fake and less expensive than most of those draft picks. I hope some of them bought fake chains, but most of them look real. Look like real diamonds. So this is why I look like this today. And then the Uncle Fester part. Uncle Fester is because today we're going to celebrate efficiency. There are going to be some things that we talk about in sports, business, and entertainment. You will appreciate the efficiency of business when it comes to certain franchises, when it comes to certain ways that athletes are running their own air quote business, which is their career. And because we recognize efficiency, we can point out inefficiency. Mm-hmm. So today's show, Uncle Fester's Flowers, is because my son moved to a new school 2 years ago. And at this school, the Red Oak School, they're doing a phenomenal job. Today's exciting event is going to be, they're going to do a production. Their school play is The Addams Family. And if you know anything about The Addams Family, Uncle Fester was basically sent to pretend like he was an uncle. He was a very gloomy looking guy. If you see it on our thumbnail. And he was really sent to steal the fortunes of the Addams family. He was almost an inside hidden agent. You know how we put a lot into our titles of our shows. So we do that because there's also a lot of backbiting, a lot of things that happen in sports that we're going to not celebrate, but we're going to point out today. The first thing that I want to make sure that we point out, because in May, these flowers sometimes, and Uncle Fester was notorious for being into the explosives. He liked to blow things up. It's some things that might need to be blown up in sports this week. And we'll start with the Denver Nuggets. The Joker and the Denver Nuggets, which are just, 3 years removed from an NBA championship. He has not one, not two, but 3 MVPs, baby, after this year? I don't know how many MVPs he has. Up for it again. He's up for it every year. But something ain't right in Denver. Denver gets sent home by a team who is in Game 6. Not one, not two, but 3 starters are missing. Ant-Man doesn't play. Right? You got all of these injuries, yet the T-Wolves send Denver home. Are we seeing the beginning of the end when it comes to Joker and that team, the way it's constructed? I do think that their Flowers being able to go home is going to open a whole new chapter. And it's time to blow this thing up, Uncle Fester style. What say you?
I say we are. Sports fans were crazy. I think everyone expects the standard for basketball, six championships in 6 years, double three-peats, or else. So there's NBA players on that team. We all seen this in sports. When a player goes down and a star player goes down, your game plan also goes out the window. When Ant-Man goes down, there's an NBA player that's behind him, right? They did well, who's probably carried a team or two in his life, that suddenly you have no answer for because you didn't prepare for him. You prepared to stop Ant-Man, force him this way, force him that way, get the ball, all these different things. So I think people get thrown off their game sometimes when the squad gets mixed up. So to tear the team up, I think you got to add players to help the Joker out, but to blow the team up and say all is gone and we don't mess around, and I just think it's crazy that we jumped to that conclusion. That's the first thing we're talking about. So
they looked a little they looked a little underwhelming. I would say a lot underwhelming, right? They came in as the favorite. They fought to be the 3 seed, and then to go and lose in the first round to a 6 seed that does not have Ant-Man in its closeout game. Lost 2 starters, and to win it just seems that Denver didn't look like themselves. I will say this: the irony of Jaden McDaniels, because Jaden McDaniels was the same young player that gets an outlet on a fast break with the time winding down, decides to shoot the layup. And there's an unwritten rule in the NBA: you just don't score that layup. Mm-hmm. Joker runs all the way down the court. I won't call it a brawl, but a very physical, tense moment takes place. Bench is clear. The irony that that's the same person that goes off last night, because Jaden McDaniels with not 1, not 2, but 3 starters out for the T-Wolves, Jaden McDaniels took his opportunity and ran with it. He had 32 points, 10 rebounds, made the clutch shots in the clutch moments, and at the end of the game, basically just like, I don't really care about none of that. Like, I am who I am. This is what it is. So he was Uncle Fester in the sense that he's blowing it up. I think Jaden McDaniels putting a nail in the coffin of what the Nuggets look like and how they are constructed as of today. While you're right, we are overreactive as NBA fans, guilty as charged. Truth be told is that these NBA teams are constructed to win now, and they have failed to do that over the last several seasons. While the hourglass is turned and the sand is falling on an amazing career, but there's a shelf life to someone like Joker. And so that's why I think they're going to blow it up, because they have to. If nothing else, you want the fans to think you are aiming to win now. And the way this roster is constructed, I don't think anyone will fall for that trick. I'll give you last word on it, man, before we move on, because we got some NCAA stuff that I got to talk about today. It probably blows up. That's my bet. And you can't move the Joker. You build around the Joker. But I'm starting to think that this is probably the end for this roster and the focus that they have. I don't know what the contract situation is in the backcourt, but I'm assuming that they're going to do something drastic.
I'm sure they're going to have to try to make some changes. We got to see who wins it and what wins it and everything. Everything's trendy. I think, you pointed back to the game where Joker ran down on the unwritten rule. I thought it was his Geno moment, in my opinion, to run down and say, this guy scores a layup. He didn't even dunk the ball. He just scored an easy layup at the end of the game with time left on the clock. He didn't dribble it out. So what? That wasn't why you lost. For Joker to jog down there and get in his face was a Geno moment. Like, this has nothing to do with what happened. And
Geno, when he had the meltdown against South Carolina. With Don Staley.
Yeah, that's a Geno Don Staley moment. Like, dude, you just got
I like that. Those are going to be called Geno moments now. A meltdown is a Geno moment.
It's a Geno moment. You decide you want to get in somebody's face because somebody may or may not have shaken your hand 2 hours before. You want to get in the guy's face because he shot a layup at the end of the game when you guys were getting beat and it was out of control. You think that's worthy of wanting to get into a fight? I think when you come back the next game and get taken out, it just kind of shows that you were the one that got distracted by that moment. I thought he was trying to go and bait him into swinging, and try to get him to get suspended, which I think is a cheap move, but a lot of people might try to give him veteran status for that, because he ran there and instantly put his hands down to the side and made himself available for a chin check and didn't get it. So, Joker, I'm a fan. Go home, work on your game, work on your defense. You know what I mean? Do what you got to go do. But
see you next season.
See you next year, baby.
You talk about frustration. Yes, Joker might have shown frustration in that moment. I got frustrated last night. I saw a score flash that showed the Knicks, who I can't stand. As a Miami Heat fan, I can't stand. I see our girl Maya's in the building. What's up, Maya? And she was our guest last week, and I talked all kind of trash because the Knicks looked like they were in trouble. Well, the Atlanta Hawks decided at home in Game 6, closeout game, they backs against the wall, and they decided to have a Magic City night before the game. There's no other explanation. There was a score that flashed. I remember my own son, my own son has basketball practice, and I can't even focus because the score flashes and it shows the Knicks are winning by 47 points. 47 points at halftime. There are teams that have only scored 47 points in a half. They had a margin of victory. Well, they didn't win yet. They had a margin that the differential was 47 points at halftime. They broke the NBA playoff record. Final score of the game last night was 140 to 89. A 51-point differential. It is the sixth largest blowout in NBA history. I imagine that a lot of people turn the TV off. Does this mean the Knicks are for real? Because I am a man, it's May now, right? All of them April showers, all of those lightning bolt moments I had last week talking trash about the Knicks. I have to stand in front of the congregation. I am a member of a group chat that is disproportionately made up of New York Knicks fans. And I am utterly disrespectful to them any opportunity that I get. Those gentlemen hear me talking trash all the time. And I probably should have told them in the chat I was going to do this. I am walking in front of the congregation today. And I'm doing so, I dressed up for it in my pink. I'm doing so apologetic. Let me just say I was wrong, New York Knicks fans. Let me look right in the mirror. Do I need to apologize? Are the Knicks for real? Or is Atlanta just showing us they are who we thought they were as the 6th seed, losing by 51 points in the closeout game? Does this say more about the Knicks or more about the Hawks as we turn the page and the Knicks move on to round 2?
It takes two to get ass whooping. Someone who makes their ass
on a shirt. That sounds like a shirt.
It takes two to get ass whooping. Somebody who doesn't have any fight in them, and somebody who has a whole lot of fight in them. You take away one of them, it's a good game. But to be down 40 something at halftime and lose by 50 means your pride was left at the club.
Hey, you ain't got no more paint in them. Save it up for the exhibition. You ain't got nothing but a paint in you. You ain't fighting nobody. You can't ball your fist. You shouldn't even. Every member of that roster, when they went home, should have been forced to take out the trash, wash the dishes, change diapers if their kids are still in diapers, do anything and everything. All that tough talk, when you lose by 51 points at home in a closeout game, and I hope they didn't have the audacity to go to one of them clubs. If they went to Magic City, they should have been locked out.
I think they went to Magic City the night before. I think that was the problem.
I definitely think. I agree with you.
Maybe they were at the matinee. They went caught a matinee. But I don't know. You lose like that, though. You deserve no paychecks. You had to come in and ask, hey, we getting paid this week? Nah, man. Nah. Anybody, because I could have done that. I think I could hold them. I could go out there and hold me, you, Thatcher, Reg. We could hold the Knicks to a 56-point lead. We can.
Yeah, just play keep away at least. I'm disappointed in the Hawks. Hawks, y'all got us all riled up. Y'all had me actually believing that the ATL Hawks was going to do something. Post your boy Ice Cold Trey. I was like, yo, these Hawks, CJ McCollum, I almost bought a CJ McCollum jersey. They were sold out. That's the only thing that saved me. And they went out there and lost by 51 U.S. points. They lost by 51 U.S. points because you started asking, are you sure it's the same currency? 51 U.S. points, you got your ass whooped. Belt to ass in ATL. BTA and ATL.
51 points is not what it used to be. Inflation, it's really a number about 36 if you think about it.
If you think about it.
If
you squint your eyes and turn to the left, it ain't
If you seen the price of oil, 51 points won't get you much. It's not,
I'm disappointed in y'all, man. Uncle Fester's flowers. Y'all showed up with flowers that I thought were real flowers, ATL. I was all in on the CJ McCollum fan club. Mm-hmm. I came on this platform talking trash. Maya, you a good friend because she ain't going as ham as she could have. I sent stuff to the group chat. I said it with my chest.
I believe they blocked you.
They're not getting these messages. They're having fun talking about me.
At halftime, they blocked you.
They blocked me. Like, you know what? His opinion is no longer needed in this group chat. But the flowers that ATL, them Hawks bought, they were explosives, man. They were Uncle Fester's flowers, a fugazi, a trick. We'll see, indeed, moving forward, if the Knicks are for real as the 3 seed. And don't try to be politically correct now. Shoot it to me straight. You got the money that you need for your bills. This is mortgage money. This is stuff you counting on. And you've got to bet whether or not the New York Knicks advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, or they going to get their hat, their coat, and leave. Now, I know we got 2 series that are still undecided. We got one in the Game 7. We got another one that right now looks like potential upset. But truth be told, the Knicks were constructed to win now. Do the Knicks win now? Do they advance to the Eastern Conference Final?
I think they're at least going to get to the Eastern Conference Final.
You think so?
Who do they have next?
Who do they play? They play the winner. They would play the winner. They're on the 2 side, so they would play the winner of. And who's the 2? That is Celtics. It would be on the Celtics side.
Celtics not going to win that.
Well, we'll see. Or 76ers.
And then we'll have and the Embiid will be fresh. He'll be back.
Embiid looks like he's playing well. We can get into that. We get into that, but Embiid has played well. You know, the first game he came back, he didn't necessarily play well, but he should be back to the best version of himself. Do the Knicks advance to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Yes, final answer.
Final answer. That means they had to beat whoever wins out of the 76ers and the Celtics. They've got to beat that team to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you believe that they do that?
They're favored, in my opinion.
So here's where although I'm in front of the congregation right now, repenting of said sins of being so disrespectful to the New York Knicks last week, owning up to my shortcomings. I had to admit that I didn't tithe. I kept all my money in my pocket when it came to the Knicks last week. So I've said what I had to say. I've made my apologies. But when it comes to the case of the Knicks advancing to these here 2026 Eastern Conference Final, needing to beat either the Celtics or the 76ers, they would be the home favorite and have home court advantage against the 76ers. They would not be the favorite or have home court advantage against the Celtics. And in either case, they sorry asses is done.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you should even made it to Game 6 and get the Atlanta Hawks. We talking about C.J. McCullough. We talking about C.J. now. So I think they're Uncle Fester's flowers. They're going to blow up in front of everybody right on national television in front of a sold-out crowd at Madison Square Garden. Spike Lee going to be there. What's the actor who's always there? The guy from you know what I'm talking about, the comedian. Anyway, all of them going to be there watching them lose. Chris Rock, what's the white comedian? I don't know, man.
Oh, no.
What's his name?
Nope, I'm wrong. I
can't think of his name. Anyway, all of them going to watch them lose. The Knicks go home, do not make it to the Eastern Conference Final, but they do advance to the semifinals. I apologize, New York Knicks fans. The other series that we still have to figure out on the East side, man, you got the Pistons versus the Magic. So the Pistons are the 1 seed playing the 8 seed Orlando Magic. Orlando leads 3-2. This is the closeout game of all closeout games. Orlando could send them home in Game 6 tonight, throw off the entire projected playoff run that the Pistons were supposedly on.
This trash.
Who you think wins that game? Pistons, Magic, Game 6. Paolo versus Cade Cunningham. Been a great series so far. The Pistons have shown that they've been young. Who you got winning?
Orlando.
You got Orlando winning at home. I don't know, man. I think the Pistons still got some dog in that fight. So we shall see tonight. I'm going with the Pistons. And then you got the Cavs versus the Raptors. You got the Cavs versus the Raptors. Who you got winning? Cavs versus Raptors. This is now the Cavs, the 4 seed against the Raptors, the 5 seed. The Cavs are up 3-2. They came back from behind last game and won a pivotal game 5. Who you got winning game 6?
Cavs.
Cavs. Got the Cavs winning. All right. We're going opposites. I'm going Raptors. I think that goes to game 7. Game 7. You have the 76ers. What's up, my man Paul asked, what am I wearing? Yeah, you missed that part, baby. I'm wearing the paint, man, for Kentucky Derby. It's Kentucky Derby Friday, baby. I'm wearing the paint. Wearing the paint. Who you got game 7? The 76ers got to take their show on the road. They asked us. The 76ers asked us long time ago, trust the process. Trust the process. When Uncle Fester showed up in the Adams family, they trusted Uncle Fester. He shows up with flowers. You know he's into explosives. You know that he's trying to undermine you and take your fortunes. Will the 76ers show up in Boston with their flowers in an explosive manner and win a game 7? Or does Jason Tatum and my cousin Brown, Jalen them, do they win a game 7 and advance?
I'm going to go ahead and take the 76ers.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, got Embiid come back. He's going to play. I know you guys say he wasn't supposed to play. I feel like the Celtics shouldn't even be in this situation. And I think because they're there, they don't dig deep. Even though they have a championship recently, I don't feel like they have enough heart on that team, in my opinion.
Jason Tatum coming back, I thought, said a lot about the heart of him individually. You don't think that says a lot about them as a team, being Jason Tatum as their young leader who's led them to a championship?
Brown led him to championship.
Fair. All right, well, he's a part of the two-headed monster.
But he shouldn't have been, which shows the moistness of Tatum. Tatum should have been the one to lead it, and he didn't. Something about it. I just feel like they came up, they got their championship, they're satisfied, they're done. They're done. To me.
We shall see, man. There's some great games. Continue to be great games. Enjoy the games tonight. While I'll be tuned in. There's one game that I've held for this moment. And I held it for this moment because I know how you are, man. I know how you are. You and your boy, LeBron. LeBronis.
I didn't hear enough of your chest when you said that. Say it again.
LeBron James.
Yeah. Him
downstairs. He got some Uncle Fester flowers too. We celebrated the fact that they did the unthinkable and came back 3-1 versus that Golden State Warriors team. We celebrated that. We said that might be the most impressive championship of all of the GOAT candidates. That might be the most impressive we celebrated that. But now, if LeBron's Lakers become the first team to ever allow another team to come back from 3-0 in a 7-game series, whether you like it or not, the stench of that lasts a long time.
You know, before you go getting those finger pointing, I will say I realize about LeBron is I think he might be just better by himself.
You know what I mean? Here we go. You on some bull. That's where we go. Is that really where we go?
He was 3-0 by himself. Then he lost one by himself. And now he brought your boy back and they got beat. I feel like he needed
AR didn't look great. AR didn't look great. No Luka still.
I feel like they're better alone.
Which puts it squarely on him. That's why I think this is for legacy purposes. While LeBron ain't playing for legacy, I think LeBron said it beautifully because they asked him after Game 5. There's a lot of bravado and talking. Houston had a lot to say. Sanguine, or however you say his last name. He had a lot to say. And you know, they were basically saying they knew they were going to win that game. They think they're going to win game 6. And LeBron's like, I don't even listen to that. Go ask some of the younger players. But their response is, I don't get triggered by that anymore. What does trigger LeBron is conversation about legacy. What does trigger LeBron enthusiasts, which I won't say you're the president of the club, but you got one of them front row seats. If LeBron decides, not decides, because, you know, you got to give Houston credit too. They've played well. But if LeBron is a part of a narrative as the leader of the team, first team ever to give up and succumb to a team that was down 3-0, we got to talk, dog. We got to talk, dog. Uncle Fester's flowers are starting to stink a little bit.
Can you at least let them tie the series before we start trying to shit on this man?
I feel good about Houston tonight. I feel good about Houston. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I feel good about Houston. There it is. Houston wins game 6. So I'm already knowing we're going to get to this game 7, and now there's going to be this debate. Everybody who's anybody's going to come from under the rock. People who ain't got haircuts in 15 years going to find their way into a barbershop just to engage in this dialogue. The debate then about the GOAT gets a whole bunch of extra lighter fluid in it. You know when that flame get good and you got one idiot who just likes to see bigger flames and they come with more lighter fluid? Well, when game 7 happens.
Does that person have on a flower jacket right now? I'm just curious. I'm trying to narrow it down between folks.
I got a lighter fluid, baby. I'm throwing lighter fluid on this thing to give up a 3-0 lead. To give up a 3-0 lead. Now, hold on now. Hold on. That ain't what it is.
At least let Houston tie it before we start talking about how LeBron almost gave it up.
The first team ever to give up a 3-0 lead. Do we at least? All right, so let's just say hypothetically.
Has it happened? The reason why it's never happened is because the team has to go win game 6, and then it has to go win game 7. We only played 5 games. But we already talking about how LeBron is the biggest meltdown in history. Can we at least let him be on the precipice?
I'm just making sure that for the purposes of this congregation, if indeed that happens, can we at least have a special meeting? Can we at least have a second service? We got to have a conversation because these are Uncle Fester's flowers. I need to know what's going on because these flowers starting to stank up the congregation.
Since we talking about what ifs, wow. So if he wins this game tonight, where does that put him? Since he did 3 of them by himself, and then he got a half a dude come back with him. If he wins tonight, where does that put him? Let's talk like that because somebody's going to win tonight, somebody's going to lose. I hear your mouth if they lose. But if the Lakers win tonight, what does that do?
If they win tonight, they move on. And then I think that at that point, but they move on and they get to come across the you're in the semis now, you got to go play probably SGA them boys. You know, so I don't think any of us will put him in a position to think he could beat that OKC team. Fair?
What if he does?
I don't like that what if as much as I like my what if. I don't like, But if he does that, if he beats that OKC team, if he wins a championship with this roster, if he wins it at the ripe young age of 43, if he figures out how to do it while dealing with injury and his Batman, because he at this point is Robin, is sitting over there through a lion's share of these games. If he does all that and plays the big 3 and wins one of them scratch-offs, then I'll call him the greatest.
So you got him robbing, even though the guy who you think is Batman is eating hot dog on the bench.
Well, I'm saying who was supposed to be his Batman. He's Batman
right
now.
He's Batman around this.
He's Batman now.
And they went 3-0. And now he done brought in another dude. He trying to help that dude, let him do his little thing. You know what I'm talking about?
So I humored you and answered your what if. Now answer mine. What if LeBron becomes the choir director for the team that is the first team ever to give up a 3-0 lead in a 7-game series, and he's up there as the conductor. Well, we gonna walk past that data point.
It'll be bad. It'll be bad. It'll be bad. I think about it. It'll be bad. It'll be bad that he has to take all the blame for it, but it'll be bad. No matter how you slice it. I don't.
Is it discounting at that point? Does he immediately get discounted from the ultimate conversation of greatest ever?
From haters. From only haters. Only haters want to judge you for not being 25-year-old LeBron when you're 43-year-old LeBron. Only haters do that. Michael Jordan never made it to playoffs.
But we giving him credit for being 25 like as a 43-year-old. So we got to also at least acknowledge when he's coming up short. No?
I don't think LeBron should ever be at 52 years old. He should ever be thought about as another champion. The fact that we're even having this conversation means he's won. That's all I'm saying. Jordan didn't do it.
Better not lose that game, dog. Better not lose that game, dog. That's all I'm saying, dog. Because if you become the first team ever to give up a 3-0 lead in a 7-game series in the playoffs, you automatically know that anytime anybody with any opinion related to the greatest of all times, anytime they want to bring up something that detracts the conversation, they're going to bring up that data point.
And I'm going to say,
my boy Malcolm in the house. Yeah, I got on that pink floor today, man. I'm feeling real.
Michael Jordan was 43 years old. Was he ever 3-up in a series? I'll wait.
Well, when he's up 3-0, they normally sweep. But
yeah,
we talk about Mike. We don't want to talk about Mike. Let's just talk about LeBron and keep it at least mortal. I don't want to talk about Mike. Let's talk about LeBron and keep it mortal. You get last word. They give up a 3-0 lead.
Lakers in 6.
But you told me Lakers in 5 when they was up 3-0. Or Lakers in 4. You told me Lakers in 4 when they was up 3-0.
Luckily, you never asked me.
You told me Lakers in 5. Well, when I say you, I mean everybody who thinks like you, all you LeBron enthusiasts. You told me Lakers in 5 when they was up 3-1. Now they up 3-2 and you tell me Lakers in 6. I don't believe you no more. I don't believe you.
You'll call me tonight when I'm right.
Shout out to all of those who be tuned
What
in.
What does this do to KD's legacy?
Well, he didn't play. This is a part of his legacy. He's always injured. But if they mess around and let this thing last long enough for him to sneak into a game 7,
he has played well.
If he is able to sneak into a game 7 because they allow the Houston Rockets to win tonight at home, right? And hopefully Houston, whatever you do the opposite of what Atlanta Hawks did last night. Don't go to your favorite soul food restaurant. Don't go to your favorite gentleman dance establishment. Don't go. Stay home. Go to the library. Do the opposite of what the Atlanta Hawks did last night. And I think these Houston Rockets can win. All right. My man Malk says 2 weeks ago, everybody was a prognosticator, was picking the Rockets. Now Bron got them up 3-2. And somehow it's hate directed his way. Bron can't win. You better believe he can't win. That's why they say, man, heavy is the head that wears the what? That man calls himself the King.
You call him the King.
I don't call him the King. I call him LeBronis. I don't call him the King. Now, if he was playing for us, I called him King-like when he was playing for the Miami Heat. That's the closest I ever came to it. I called him Martin Luther. You know what I mean? And everybody else could take what they want from that.
Call him man Luther.
I got some standards and some rules about this stuff. But shout out to him, man. Should be a
all
good
I
game.
say is we'll know tomorrow. We got
we'll
10
know
minutes
tomorrow.
left. 10 minutes left. Let's fire through.
We'll know tomorrow. Talking about rules and regulations, man, there is, for those who don't know, the Big Flow Show and we get our credibility from several places, but as people that both played at a high level in high school, went on to be top recruits in the college space and going to play major college football at Notre Dame. I got at least a cup of coffee in the NFL. My man Flo is represented NFL players. I have too. We both have coached. We both are sports dads. This might be the bombshell story of the week. The NCAA is reformatting its eligibility rules, and they are doing something that is being colloquially called 5 for 5 rule, meaning that you have 5 years to play 5 years of eligibility, where it used to be 4 and 5. Now they're doing 5 for 5, which would eliminate a lot of like the strict redshirting rules. You can only play a certain number of games. They've been modifying it. But I think this is the one that gets right at the heart of the matter. And the eligibility is supposed to start either when you graduate from high school or when you turn the season after you turn 19. And so this is an age-based way to address the elephant in the room of this growing, mounting concern that the ill effects of COVID and the expansion and loosening of the guidelines as it relates to the transfer rule and the new rules around, there's this domino effect that is negatively impacting high school student athletes trying to be recruited. That used to be the dream. I have a dream. That used to be the dream. The dream seems to be unattainable now because of all of the backlog that's in the queue of college sports. Do we like this? The NCAA 5 for 5 rule, which will also impact some of the prep rules, right? Deciding when you reclass and how you reclass, all of those things. Do you like this? Simple and plain, Big Flow Show.
You know, I get it. And shout out, my baby girl just showed me she's watching. Shout out to my baby girl, Bella, down at Alabama A&M. Just
Bella in the building. What up, Bella?
Let me know that she's out here watching folks, watching us down there. So we got probably some new people in Alabama watching. Anyway, shout out to the Bulldogs. Anyway, so do I like the rule? As long as my son doesn't get screwed over, I like it. If he keep getting screwed, he's gonna get screwed.
I think everybody has that same reaction, right? Like, how does this impact my child? How does this impact my eligibility? How does this impact my team? How does it impact my whatever, my roster, my nephew? We are all individually trying to figure out this impact, the impact of this rule on us. So let's extrapolate that.
Let me start off by saying I'm a little surprised. And the reason why I'm surprised is I believe that college athletics is in the best place it's ever been. We're seeing how it's spilled over into the NFL, and I may be jumping topics here, but they talked about the NFL draft this year, and they said that rounds 5 through 8 are still in college. What they meant by that is the fact that the people who typically would have been picked in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, 5 through 7, 5th, 6th, and 7th round opted to stay in college and get paid a check because that type of talent's making great money in college. You know, you take a quarterback. I don't know if he got picked up or not. The quarterback from Miami. Did he even get picked up?
Carson Beck. Yes. Yeah. He's going to get a pay cut. Carson Beck got drafted in the 3rd round by the Arizona Cardinals. Carson Beck was making $4 million for the University of Miami. He will be making $1.3 million in his first year as an Arizona Cardinal. He took a pay cut.
And get taxed twice. Double tax. Jock tax. So at the end of the day, a lot of the talent. So Carson Beck probably is a guy who would have come out a year ago, and he probably would have been a 6th, 7th, 8th round pick. But it was more money for him to
ain't no 8th round, but I got what you're saying.
6th, 8th round pick, free agent. You know, that's the 8th round. And so those guys are still in school. But from a standpoint of the product we're seeing on the field, I mean, the average age of the University of Indiana was 23 years old, and I happen to know more than one 18-year-old on the kids. So the average had to be really high, older guys to get the average from 18 all the way to make it 23 years old. So from that standpoint,
you ain't no mathematician, but I would agree with you. Yeah,
I do. I have a hard time counting without my shoes off. But at the same time, I will say that the sports are the best. We saw going back Indiana. We saw University of Miami, who came in barely made it into the playoffs, play for the championship. The parity is unbelievable, and that's because of the abundance of talent that's remained at the college level. That said, I'm surprised that they are breaking that up. On the flip side, there are some extreme cases that are just out of control. When you see the guy from the University of Miami, the tight end who had an 8th and 9th year of eligibility. When you and I played football, you had a red shirt for either lack of ability to play, to develop, or an injury, but not both. In extreme cases, and that's why they talk about slippery slopes. And you're an attorney, so you know the term of slippery slope probably better than anybody. Is that once you have precedent, then what do you say? So in our extreme cases, when we were coming out, there would be guys that had a knee injury, and then they would re-injure that same knee, or it just didn't get right, and they would give them that year back. And now that has become a right. My son was just awarded a medical redshirt year because he tore his hamstring. What I don't want to see happen, and this is the part where I get frustrated, and I'm specific to my family, but just in general, is you make these rules, they're totally wild, they get out of hand, and then you decide, all right, now we're going to stop. So all the people that you're stopping that gets hurt, I'll take my son as a great example, who's had to play with 6-year guys and 7th-year guys all this time while he was in school. Now that he has an opportunity to become that 6-year guy, we're going to change it. So they're saying 5 for 5 from your 19th birthday on. The fact that they said 19 doesn't kill California guys, because pretty much anyone from the West Coast is always older. They what they call a holdback year at 8th grade, and that's pretty much the norm for athletes. They redo the 8th grade, and then they end up having to staying in college until 19 years old, high school till 19 years old. But there are some extreme cases of them staying till they're 20. So now they're saying that their eligibility their clock will start at the 19th birthday. Do I think that's fair? I do. I mean, do I think that people who stay till they're 20 in high school are smart? I think they're geniuses. Like right now, success in life has no rules, right? If I shouldn't say that, but success in life, is within the rules. I don't care about judgment. That's the way I should be thinking it. So if you judge me because I use the rules to my advantage, then that's on you. If I have a tax, the rich people don't pay taxes because they don't have to, right? You can say that they should go and pay 50% tax, but they're not going to. They say I can pay capital gains tax, and you can't stop me unless you change the rules. So now they're going to change the rules. So that from that standpoint is good. I do still think the medical, I go back and forth on that. Some guys had ingrown toenail and didn't play, and they're getting a year back and do whatever. Maybe there should be a limit to, one red shirt. Well, there's only red shirts, so I think there should maybe a limit to one medical red shirt at this point. If you're going to get rid of the red shirt year altogether, I do think there's some unfairness because, again, going back to my son, freshman year, played in 2 games because it was considered a red shirt year, and the rule said you could play in 4. So for them to say to him, all right, well, that counts as your 5th year. You played in 2 games, and the other guy who was a freshman that played in 9 games.
You think it should retroactively apply?
I think that if you're still in school when this rule takes in effect, and you only had 4 years on the books, then you should get that 5th year back. And the reason why is there's plenty of kids that my son.
Because they're saying that's not the case. They're saying
that's not the case. They're saying if your senior year ends in 2026, 27, then you're going to finish your college career based off of the old rules. If that's the case, we're fine. I think that's what's fair because you have to age it out. The same thing they did with roster limits. They went from 120 something down to 105. But if you were already in college, they gave you a letter saying you're a designated student athlete and you can finish out because you can't just start making these rules hard and fast and just shit on these kids who've put so much time and effort in there and changed their lives, in my opinion.
I ask you, because this week's episode going by the title of Uncle Fester's Flowers. Uncle Fester shows up. Nice guy, but we know he's up to something. We know he likes explosives. And under the table, he is literally there to take our family's fortunes. Is the NCAA, by way of this rule, showing up with Uncle Fester's flowers? They're hidden explosives. They're trying to take our family's fortunes. Truth be told, if you look at it, the NBA, in terms of early draft enrollees in the NBA draft process, there are only 71 underclassmen, which is less than 106 from last year. And it's the lowest number of early enrollees in the NBA draft process since 2003. There are reasons to stay. You talk about the NFL. You brought up Carson Beck. He's just one of a few quarterbacks that are taking a pay cut Pavia is an undrafted guy as a free agent. If he makes the team, he'll make $885,000 in his first year. He made $2 million last year at Vanderbilt. Kansas City Chiefs in the 7th round. They drafted Garrett Nussmeier, who made $4 million last year for LSU. He'll make $915,000 if he makes that roster at Kansas City. New York Jets, 4th round draft pick, Cade Klubnik from Clemson, made $2.1 million last year. He'll make $1.2 as a 4th round draft pick, backup quarterback if he makes the Jet roster. The reasons to stay. Is the NCAA in this rule and the principles behind it, are they showing up with Uncle Fester's flowers, pretending as though they're helping, but really here to steal the family's fortunes with these young student athletes that have finally been able to vest their interests in this multi-billion-dollar ecosystem of college sport?
I think at the end of the day, the money situation in college is unsustainable. I saw some news on the Big 12 trying to sell out to private equity. They're going to put a big stop to some of these paydays because they're going to just do dollars and cents, and you're going to lose all your donors once they do the private equity piece of it. And that's going to change things. You know, there's a wild, wild west period. People making a bunch of cash, and that was going to end up stopping. It does seem like it makes no sense for you to make more money in college than you do in the pros, but you're more valuable. You know, I would argue you're more valuable to your college team than you are to the pro team. I mean, by winning a Heisman for your team, look at what Travis Hunter did for Colorado. I mean,
Yeah.
the application rate of Colorado is through the roof. They got a Heisman Trophy winner there. It's through the roof.
Yeah.
That's going to pay off for that's going to pay off.
And I got to start researching what happened to Colorado's endowment. I would imagine for that 2-year span when Coach Prime, along with Shador, Shiloh, and Travis Hunter came over, I imagine that the dollar started to pour in. So, great point. I'll let you get out of here with this because you got to get out of here. I know, and I'll do solo teachable moment. Ball Hawk spotlight moment, man. I got to at least touch on it before you get out of here. It seems like half of the Splash Brothers, Klay Thompson, has set off an entire alarm when it comes to Mars versus Venus with his now breakup of Meg Thee Stallion. I got to at least ask you about it. Mars versus Venus. There was a lady, Madam Joyce, who said no one even knew who Klay Thompson was. That the pop culture, R&B, rap diva, Meg Thee Stallion gave him aura. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't know who he is. And he used her to get his aura. That's how the young people talk. See how I did that?
Yeah.
Give me your take on it, man. Meg Thee Stallion, Klay Thompson, Mars versus Venus. All of us getting in trouble by weighing in on it and saying something in favor of Klay. So I've learned to shut up in my own house. What say you, man? We're in a safe space right now. Klay Thompson, Meg Thee Stallion.
I say there's 3 kind of major stars in America, right? There's athletes, there's actors, and then there's musicians, right? I might be missing something, but those are there. And then probably a 4th one is influencers is the new one that's coming out of that. But pretty much the historical has been actors, athletes, and musicians. And a lot of those, when you get the crossovers, when you can kind of hit that megastar status. So my wife could tell you more about the Kelsey brothers than you could ever imagine. She knows where they went to school, how old they are, their birth weights, everything.
Swifties, Beehive. I got you.
She is a Swiftie, and she's whatever. So this person that said that
Madam Joyce is her name.
Madam Joyce, never heard of her. She said
it with an accent, but it still sounded kind of tough to me.
The fact that you said she's young and she goes by Madam is already funny as hell for me. But at the end of the day, I don't know who she is, right? And there's a crossover effect there. So she's like, no one knew who Klay Thompson was. The average Megan Thee Stallion fan may not know who Klay Thompson is because people our age, I mean, you might have listened to WAP and you might have appreciated a picture or two, but you're not a Megan Thee Stallion fan. You're not that. You're not her target audience. But to not know who Klay Thompson is a joke, right? So, yeah, I think there's crossover and everything. I think to say she made him, She made him in Madam Butterfly's world, whatever her name is. I can't get her name right for 2 more
Madam
seconds.
Joyce. Oh,
Madam Joyce.
fair point, man. I know you got to get out of here, but I
I
appreciate
do, man.
you,
My
bro.
ball hawk moment is this. This is what I'm going to be doing Sunday if you're looking for me, boy. This is the Micro Wrestling Federation live
Is that
event.
wrestling for little people?
It's wrestling for little people. I got the table ringside. I'm going out there to
Do you have a
support.
big table or a little table?
It's it depends on who's looking at it. To me, it might be little. To them, it might be a high top. But we're gonna figure out what's going on. But I appreciate y'all. It's been great.
Enjoy, man. Capture for the Ball Hawk spotlight moment. Ball Hawk Sports Talk crowd wants to know how the little people wrestling is.
No doubt.
Thank you, Big Flow Show.
Easy.
Get at you, baby. We'll go home with this. We'll go home with the teachable moment. Shout out to the Big Flow Show. And we'll go home with this. Teachable moments. Valuations. This week was also the beginning of the new WNBA. And I say the new WNBA because it's under a new collective bargaining agreement. I say new WNBA because we are, as an audience, starting to tune in a little bit more. I say new WNBA because as people understand the dollars and the cents of it, we acknowledge that they're finally paying some of these household names in the WNBA, star players that have drawn us in. They're finally starting to pay them what they should be paid. Still some room for improvement. So this new WNBA started this week, and we'll check what viewership looks like. But I wanted to make sure I made it clear, because in the same week that the new WNBA league started, you have a reported deal on the table for the San Diego Padres for close to $4 billion. I think it's $3.79 billion. It's been valuated at $3.79 billion. When just a year ago, just 1 year ago, you had a team, the new team in Golden State, right? The Valkyries, who that team was basically established or sold, if you will, for $50 million. They bought it for $50 million. Now, look at that team. It is now Golden State Valkyries is valuated at $850 million. Sold last year for $50 million, but valuated at $850 million. So in this episode of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, Uncle Fester's Flowers, we're going to be talking about valuations quickly in this teachable moment. Uncle Fester shows up with the flowers, and they're known to be explosive. Truth be told, while we will celebrate the new CBA, while we'll celebrate the increased viewership for the WNBA, while we'll celebrate the increased number of teams competing with the expansions being now part of the fabric of the WNBA, while we will celebrate these players being household names and us knowing these young women that are going out doing amazing things on the basketball court, we know who they are now. While we'll celebrate that, we have a responsibility. The Padres are selling for close to $4 billion, $3.9 billion, because of the fact that they sell out season tickets. The fact that they have a dedicated market, the fact that MLB understands that through making sure that there's scarcity, there's only so many teams. The WNBA is next. They're next up. But as a fan base, as consumers, as people who are advocating for these players and advocating for this league, for those of us who really put work and effort and our heart and soul into Title IX, for those of us advocates, men included, got three sisters who are all athletes, it's incumbent upon us, if we want the valuations for these WNBA teams to be higher, to do the things necessary, right? Golden State Valkyries are valued at $850 million because why? They sold out their season tickets of 10,000 last year. They've already had to cut off season tickets at 12,000 for this year. They've created a fan base Turn the TV on, support the teams, and the valuations will follow. And with that, sell teams, purchase teams, create financing that supports extra capital being poured into a league on behalf of the women that we're trying to support. And that's my teachable moment. Been a great episode, y'all. I know that the Big Flow Show is out. It's been the Uncle Fester's Flowers episode. Shout out to the Red Oak School for putting on this production. My big sister flew in. My big sister Joy flew in. Wanted to see her nephew. He is the daughter, Wednesday's boyfriend. That's his role. But just like Uncle Fester was put in place to undermine the Addams family and steal their fortunes, he shows up with flowers that can be explosive. They're red herrings. They're ruses in order to get what he ultimately wants and infiltrate the family. Same thing happens to a lot of us in our sports world. Whether it be in youth sports, there's an Uncle Fester among you that's showing you flowers that they are using to be explosive. Keep a steady mind. Make sure that you are analyzing the people around you thoroughly and stay the course. Shout out to the Red Oak School for staying the course. Watch those kids practice week in and week out to see the number of hours that the teachers and the support staff put in. They've been at this for months on months. And I won't say the other school's name, but he went to a school that tried to put a production together that just didn't work. They, at the end, just like the kids won't learn their lines. And our guy, John Brown of the St. Brown, said there's no such thing as lazy student athletes. It's lazy parents. In that case, I was very disappointed. I felt like the adults disappointed me in not getting that production. So shout out to a school that got it done, got the ball across the finish line. Wrangling kids and getting them to learn lines has to be tough, but they did it. So shout out to them. Hence the inspiration for this week's show. And Uncle Fester's Flowers is yours to keep. Like we ask you every week, humbly, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the podcast. We went through a lot of riveting NBA action this week. We at least talked about the finances and the business of the WNBA. Shout out to them as they kick off yet another season. There is this new NCAA rule. Make sure that you look at that, understand it, and see how it will impact you in whatever world you live. The NFL draft happened next week, because this week we were trying to get to some other things. But next week, maybe the Big Flow Show and I will analyze our respective team grades. Me, the Cleveland Browns, him, the Chicago Bears. I think we both got A- on the draft, so we'll weigh in on that next week. We'll see if LeBron can hold off what could be a legacy defining. And when I say defining, not in a good way, legacy defining in a bad way moment to be the first team ever to give up a 3-0 lead in a 7-game series. We'll see if that happens. And then we got the famous, most impressive and exhilarating words in all the sports. We got Game 7. You got Celtics versus 76ers, East Coast battle. So it is going to be a phenomenal week of sports. I'll be doing some AAU, but most importantly, I'll be a dad in the audience watching the Addams family, because some adults rolled up their sleeves on behalf of kids and got it done. Taught them just by taking one step forward, going to practice on a regular basis, being accountable to learn your lines, being accountable to be a part of the team, being devoted to dealing with the headaches of young people learning lines and being unmotivated. Shout out to all the adults. In this case, it was teachers and staff. In sports cases, it's coaches. A lot of times in our respective houses, it's the adults, the parents, the grandparents, auntie, uncle. Shout out to all the people that are helping these young people live their lives such that we have a bright future. All right. And this is it, man. That was Uncle Fester's Flowers episode of the Ball Hall Sports Talk. The Big Flow Show is in the building. I'm your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hall, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy, a.k.a. Coach Bobby, a.k.a. Councilman Brown, Bobby Brown. It's been a phenomenal week of sports, business, and entertainment. We look forward to seeing you next week. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports and entertainment collide. More specifically, it's where the managerial decisions of big finance intersect with the weekly storylines of sports and entertainment. If you had to describe it in a pop culture way, it'd be safe to say we are where show me the money meets just give me the damn ball. We are the Ball Hog Sports Talk. We are indebted to you for those who did participate in the live audience. We ask you humbly one last time, please like, comment, share. You could tag a friend, you could tag a foe, you could tag anyone that you know, but make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast on Spotify. New York Knicks, I apologize to you publicly. We'll see what happens going forward. I'm still a hater, but even a hater has to admit when you did the job and you did it. With that, boys and girls, rats and cats, dogs and frogs, anything and everything in between. This has been the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Thank you so much for listening. With that, we is out.